Our cat passed away, and like I went into like this really sad, like this deep sadness, which affected my art in the way that I just like felt like I couldn't do anything. I didn't even want to do anything. So then what I did to try to rejuvenate that was go look at people's work. And then I was like, people are so damn talented. What do I have to offer? There's nothing here for me. And then 2020 happened, and then most of our weddings got canceled. But for the few weddings that we did shoot, it was really neat because I almost had permission to not have to perform perfect. Like I have this high bar set for myself. And when COVID happened, every single one of our couples was just coming from a place of gratitude that we were even there. My ego was smacked hard with a shovel. And there's just this voice in my head being like, you need to just shut up. You don't need to think about what it matters to you, what you're shooting. It matters to them. They're getting married. They just went through a pandemic. They're terrified to have their family with them, but they're doing it like everyone's alive. Just push your ego aside and go do your job and be grateful.
When I first started my wedding photography business back in 2011, I made just $5,000 in my business. Now, I bring in multiple six figures per year while working only 30-hour weeks serving my dream couples. I'm here to help you discover that it's so possible to have what you want when you want in your business so that you can create the life you've always dreamed of and deserve. Yay! Welcome, Jessy and Brandon. I'm so excited to have you guys on the show.
Yay, thank you. We are so excited to be here.
Yay. And just as we talked about, we decided we're going to start the episode with Would You Rather questions. And then we can get to know a little bit about what you guys love to photograph and a little bit about who you two are. And then we'll jump into the episode. Sounds good?
Yes, sounds awesome.
Okay, I'm so excited for these. I always get so giddy and I always end up being so like, I end up laughing my ass off with these. Okay.
Yeah, I feel like I'm nervous.
I'm glad we have no idea what the questions are.
I know, right? All right. So would you rather, and I guess you guys can both independently say your own individual answer probably. Okay. Would you rather spend the rest of your life with a sailboat as your home or an RV as your home?
RV.
RV. Both.
I just have no, like,
those are both
I've
cool.
never sailed before, so I was like, who knows? Maybe I get seasick.
I'm kind of feeling a sailboat because then you can just like anchor it anywhere or just like park it somewhere at a marina anywhere in the world and just live there and chill. But then an RV, you could just drive anywhere. But I don't know. They're both cool. I pick both.
Yeah. I love that perspective. I would definitely do RV because I definitely would get seasick and I have a freaking story about that. Like, anyway. Okay, next one. Would you rather be forced to dance every time you heard music or be forced to sing along to any song you heard?
Oh my God.
Forced to sing along.
Probably
because you don't have to force me. I'll sing along anytime.
Yeah, I'm brutal at both, so I probably dance because I don't know. I'm brutal with lyrics.
Brandon,
Brandon
is understating his dancing skills. He's actually a fabulous dancer.
Oh, really? That's so cool.
I don't know. I think she's just being too kind.
It's pretty cute to watch him dance.
Okay, but is it dancing kind of like you just think he knows how to like groove and jam to the music, or have you actually taken dance classes before?
No, zero dance background.
Okay, cool. Okay, so you have rhythm, basically.
Yes, he does.
Rhythm.
Yeah, he got the rhythm.
Oh, awesome. Okay. Would you rather know the history of every object you touched or be able to talk to animals?
Oh, be able to talk to animals.
Yeah.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
The first question was cool too, though. So right when you started with that, I was like, whoa, I never even thought of that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But talking animals is a no-brainer.
Animals are like the coolest.
Well, especially because we have a reactive dog and we're always like, what the fuck is he thinking? Like, if we could just talk to him, this would be a lot easier.
If I just knew what he was thinking, what he needs from us. Sometimes I look at him and I'm like, what are you saying to me? I don't know.
Yeah. Or wouldn't it be so amazing sometimes when like dogs bark at each other? I'm like, I want to know what you're talking about. Like, what are you guys talking about?
Oh, yeah. Oh, for sure.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah. Or like when dolphins are like, no.
Oh yeah. Oh my God, that was the best dolphin impression.
No. But you know when they like do that thing and you're like, what are you guys saying?
Yeah. Oh
What are you
my gosh.
playing?
I love the sound you made. It was like
Yeah, I don't know.
You can do it again.
I don't know. It was good though, right?
it was. It was like there for like half a second. It was amazing.
Well, thank you. I tried.
Okay, this next one makes me freaking laugh. Okay. Would you rather smell poop 50% of the time or smell fish 100% of the time?
Oh.
Like just like 100% of my life, you mean?
Like 100%.
Yeah.
Probably just
okay.
You just get used to it. It doesn't change.
You think so?
Yeah.
Then you'd say that about the shit too.
No, but if it comes and goes, 50%.
So, okay, so the poop. So imagine, okay. So it's, would you rather smell poop 50% of the time or smell fish 100% of the time?
I guess I would want to smell poop because then at least the other 50% I'm free.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
It does to you. I have a different perspective.
But I feel like people go nose blind. So if it was 100%.
That's what I'm saying. I'm going to go nose blind.
Oh my God.
And it just gets normal.
Yeah.
If you go 50-50, you're like, all this shit's back again.
You're challenging my brain, Sarah. I guess maybe
I know, right?
I don't even. What would you do?
I would go with poop. I would go with poop because I would have 50% of the time a break. But I totally get your perspective, Brandon. I actually didn't think about that.
Yeah,
it's kind of genius, actually.
It could be flawed. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm gonna write it.
It could be fun, and then your life is over because you just smell fish all the time.
You should test it every day. Rub a little bit of fish smell on your upper lip and see if you get used to it.
Homie eats raw food and it's fish, and he basically does this every day in the morning and night. He has to mash up this raw food, and there's like fish, whatever in there, and it stinks.
Oh, so maybe that's why he chose that answer.
I don't really hate fish smell that much.
No, I guess not.
So that helps.
Yeah.
I don't like fishy fish. Yeah.
Okay, 2 more questions. Okay. Would you rather travel the world for a year on a shoestring budget or stay in only one country for a year but live in luxury?
It depends if you're living in luxury near a really beautiful beach break where I could surf, then yes. If I'm not near a beach break, I'll go anywhere.
Yeah, I'd probably just stay because we
like staying.
Yeah, I like traveling,
but
I'm not like a backpacker. Like I like to pick a spot and like really take it in.
That's awesome. I love that answer. Yeah, I feel like over time I used to think I could be like super nomadic, but then I would miss out on having that like routine that grounds me. So I totally feel you guys there. Okay, the last question is inspired by something I saw on your Instagram story literally right before we started recording.
So
would you say?
I said, how often do you shower? And I said, rarely.
That's so funny. Definitely not that one, but that's another cool fact to know about you. No, you're definitely not alone. So would you rather be stuck in a blender or stuck in a light bulb?
Oh my God.
Now I know that if you're nickel size in a blender, you can get out. So
yes, just like Owen Wilson says, when you're 2 nickel-sized men in a blender, you're out in the world saving lives. So I'd have to say we'd be in a blender.
Yeah, blender.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. There you go.
And even the top models these days only last like 10 hours top, so it's gonna run out.
Have you ever seen the movie The Internship?
Honestly, I have the worst aversion with movies.
Owen Wilson, Vince
I'm like, have I? Oh wait, no, I think I have, but I don't remember it.
Oh my God. Okay, so you have to go watch it.
It's like, I'm assuming you know Wedding Crashers.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's like a newer version, slightly more PG, but is they are interns at Google.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. I'm gonna write that down. Maybe it's something Roy and I can watch because we just finished Ozark. So we're like, what else are we gonna watch?
It's the best. It's a good feel good movie. Like
we watch it just to feel good all the time.
Sweet. Good to know.
That's why we posted that, the nickel size. You'll see. It's
also feel good television, Ted Lasso.
Oh yeah, Ted Lasso.
Okay, cool. I'll take that recommendation.
That's
oh my
Jason
god, I almost wrote Ted Sasso.
Ted Sasso.
Ted Lasso.
It's reasonable.
Absolutely.
Awesome, you too. Okay, so that was our little Would You Rather segment. That was fun. Got the blood pumping.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I'm sure everyone would love to know a little bit more about you too. What kind of photography do you two love specializing in? And yeah, tell us a little bit about yourself and then we'll dive into the episode.
Cool. Well, I'm Jessy, and this is my husband, Brandon. You guys can't see him, but you can hear him. He sounds quite handsome, I know. We've been together since we were about 15 years old. We got married about 5 years ago, and we started working together full-time in the photography business about 2.5 years ago. And we're just photographers living in Canada. Specifically in Ontario. We just moved from the city of Toronto up north, about an hour north of the city. So now we live in on the lake in a quiet little town, and it's great. We're just doing life, man. We're having fun.
That's awesome. Do you guys actually live on a lake? Like you just go into your backyard and you jump in?
Where it's on like our lakefront is just across the street, so like
you have to like cross.
We have a lakefront, but it's not our backyard.
Yeah,
that is so cool. Oh my gosh, I love that. In the summer, all I can think of is just like jumping in the water 3 times a day instead of showering 3 times a day.
Yeah,
exactly. Yep, that's why we don't shower. So
that's awesome. Mm-hmm. And I would love to dive into like the evolution of how Brandon ended up joining you on this photography journey, because I know that you transitioned out of corporate, right, to start shooting full-time with Jessy. So I think it would be fun to go and dive deep into that, because I'm sure there are some listeners tuning in that are like, I want my partner in on this. We want to go on it together. How the hell do we even get started? So let us know a little bit about that evolution.
Yeah, it wasn't corporate, but I was working in broadcast. Just kind of behind the scenes with the technical end, like equipment based and stuff like that. But I've been shooting since like my dad bought me my first camera when I was like 15, 16 maybe. Mm-hmm. So I've been shooting for a long time. I will take this. I actually hold a lot of pride in this. I got Jess into photography.
Oh, that's awesome.
Even though she's the star of the show.
This is
I got her into it when we started dating. She was always like really artsy and stuff, but when we started dating, she's like, oh, I want to take the photography class that you were in. And I'm like, yeah, come. And she ended up joining me, and I took it again. And then she like fell in love and obviously took it like
with you
pretty quick.
No, I'm joking.
Yeah.
Both.
Yeah.
But for the business, like when I started to join the business, it was more like I was getting like my work was like super time consuming, and like I was working like 70, 80 hours a week a lot of the times, because it's project based and it's like an industry that things need to be done like yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
There isn't much respect for time and space in that industry. You just have to do it and just stay till it's done. Mm-hmm. But I also like started like on more of a personal journey where it was like I was using my job as almost like a crutch, as like for my social anxiety. Mm-hmm. So I like I struggled with anxiety for a long time, but my job was able to like, it was always a good excuse. It was like, oh, I can't do this, I'm working. Like, so that ended up started taking over a lot. And then one day on like a big project I was on, I just had like, I was actually getting dinner on the way home, and all of a sudden like I'm in picking up my burrito, and I'm just like standing in this, I was in I forget where I was, but I was just standing there, and I was like had this crazy like almost out of body experience where I was just standing there, and I was like watching myself, because I all of a sudden became like numb to everything in the room. I'm just standing in this like packed burrito joint on like a Saturday night at like 10:30. And then I like from that day on, I had like a panic attack for like 3 days straight. Like it wouldn't go away. I tried to like distract myself and all this stuff and like do things I like, play sports. Like I played hockey my whole life and nothing I did made it go away. So I was like, from there, I just like had to take a step back from work. And then I started cutting my hours down and like was like kind of like, I can't do this anymore. I need to step back a bit. And then I started to try and like take better care of myself and like kind of figure out it just opened my eyes a bit to like what was important and like where I was really lacking in my life. So I started shooting with Jess that year because I was no longer working on the weekends and she was shooting a lot of friends of ours. So I was going to go to the weddings and I always shot. So she's like, why don't you just like come shoot with me? And I'm like, okay, sick. And then
just come to them all, come hang out.
So then that kind of just started rolling that way. So I was still working my job for like the first, basically until it's poor timing, but till the start, this start of 2020 was when I was like full time with Jess, no longer working my other job, which was like
whole year 2020,
the best year to quit your job.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was just shooting with her on the side, and then all of a sudden I just started like prioritizing that because it was like super fun. We got to like basically have date night every weekend.
Yeah.
And then just like hang out and shoot and be creative together. It was really sweet. So then I would all of a sudden be booking days off my real job. I'm like, no, I can't. I got to shoot kind of thing. And it was just like, well, which one's like your actual job? Mm-hmm. So then I just decided I gave them like 2-3 months notice and I said at the end of this year, well, that's it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing that. Jessy, did you want to say something?
Oh no, it just like almost makes me emotional. I could just cry right now because it's so like so many people go through like, listen, I'm already tearing up, but so many people just don't know there's another way. And when you see your husband go through anxiety like that, it just reminds you that like, we don't know other people's lives and what's happening or what they're going through. And so many people looked at Brandon thinking he had everything figured out. And it was like almost the opposite. And to get to a place now where Brandon is challenging himself to shoot weddings with me every weekend, where he is constantly under social stress, but he's thriving. Like I couldn't feel more proud and excited and just like open to the world. Like it's incredible what has happened in his life. Yeah. Way to go, Sara.
Thank you for sharing that.
You're making us tear up.
I really appreciate this because this is exactly why I have this podcast. Like so much of my why is I don't want people to feel alone on their journey. Mm-hmm. So like, I really appreciate you guys opening up your hearts to me and to everyone and sharing that. And Brandon, I can totally relate. Like so you guys would probably be surprised and everyone else, but I definitely have social anxiety. Like I do really well, like one-on-one or maybe up to a group of like 5 people. But if it's more, I'm just like, I don't know what to do. Am I a nerd because all I want to talk about is personal development, or I want to go all the other way and just dance and party like crazy. Like I always have to overanalyze how do I behave. And that's why I used to not really go out to a lot of like photography get-togethers. It would just be too much. So Brandon, I would love to know from you, like, what do you think was the thing that cultivated the social anxiety within you? Do you think it was also related to just overwork and stress, that you kind of felt like you didn't take care of yourself enough or your mental health enough? And also, how have you felt navigating into being put in more social situations at weddings and stuff like that? Are you finding it easier, or are you still having to make it a practice to take care of that mental health around that?
Good question.
That is a good question. Mm-hmm. So it was something I definitely struggled with from when I was like young, like for sure, probably before high school even. Mm-hmm. But it was just like one of those things that growing up, I probably would have been labeled as like a cool guy, like a popular kid. So it's something that like no one really would have ever noticed, but because I would show up to a party, I would do all the things. I played sports, I skateboarded, I did all the social things, but it always took me a while to get there. Like I would always be late. It was almost like I don't want to be the first one there or the last one there. Like I would just show up in between and kind of like slide my way in and just go under the radar. It's funny, it reminded me of like a friend of ours during this whole COVID thing was like, I can't wait to like go to a gathering and there's going to be 50 people there. I'm going to hug every single person. I'm going to have 50 hugs high and 50 hugs by. And I'm like, I'm going to go into these parties and hope that there's 3 people that see me and 47 people that don't see me. And I can just kind of keep low key. But yeah, it's, but it's definitely something I still struggle with, like social, like the weddings. Sometimes like, it's weird. It's like, it's not always the amount of people. It's almost the space sometimes. Like sometimes we can go to a wedding that's like 200 plus people, but it's like a huge venue. And I just feel like I have like space to like kind of just step aside for a minute. But sometimes if we're in a small venue or someone's house and there's only like 40 people there, sometimes it almost feels worse because I feel like I don't have anywhere that I can just step aside and kind of be unseen for like 5 minutes. But yeah, it's something.
Good old bathrooms though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's one of the things too, is like some venues don't have that. Like they'll have like 2 bathrooms and there's like 100 people there and you're like,
yeah,
people are pissed if I'm just in there just taking a breath.
It's kind of funny actually. Like I'll get a really wicked inquiry from like a super rad couple and I'll be like, babe, we got a sick inquiry for this place. And he's like, how many bathrooms? I'm like,
oh my God.
3.
Oh,
like,
I love that you just shared that. Oh my
yeah, it's real, man. Like it's,
yeah,
it happens here in our home. And I know it happens in other people's homes too. Like we all feel this way, right?
But yeah, one of the first things I did that was like, it's something that I actually just started getting back into more and I kind of neglected for a while during this whole COVID thing because I didn't have to like go out of my comfort zones. There was no like, I just was like doing whatever I wanted. I didn't have to go anywhere because I couldn't.
Introvert's dream.
Yeah. Exactly. So I kind of neglected I got really big into meditation and that's something I've been like back into like on a daily basis for the past like almost 2 months now.
What are you doing right now? Like you've been meditating every day for
it's almost 2 months.
Like yeah. So every morning he wakes up like early and he'll just meditate and homie will be on his lap and they just, the 2 of them, I guess, just meditate for like half an hour. I don't even know how long. I'm not awake.
Yeah, I try to get up before her.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but it's good. It's great, right?
That's
Brandon,
amazing.
we're in the same boat.
Yeah.
We're in the same boat. I meditated every day this year so far too. And it helps so much.
Nice.
It makes it huge.
Like honestly, this even like it's funny because like right now we're both interacting and I had no idea that you had social anxiety and I do. And it took me a lot of work to like get to this point where I'm actually interviewing more people on the podcast and just not overthinking, oh my God, what question do I ask? Oh, did I just sound stupid? Like all those things. Yeah. But meditation helps me just like realize that if you're just present and you listen to the human in front of you, you know how to interact and what questions to ask on a human level. And so, yeah, I'm so happy that you found meditation because I can totally speak to that too. It definitely helps so much.
Oh yeah. It's, I can see why people have a hard time getting into it because it's hard to sit still with your thoughts, like, and not distract yourself with the thousands of things we can distract ourselves with now. So it's like that's like the biggest thing I find that's the benefit from it is the practice of not letting the thoughts control me, and I get to just decide when they go on and when I choose to think about them. So I
love that, and I'm so excited for you too when wedding season comes back to see. I'm so curious, and I would love to hear from you guys. If you message me on Insta or wherever, I'd love to know if there's a difference where from last year's your social anxiety at weddings to this year after meditating. I would find it so fascinating if there is going to be a difference for you. So
yeah,
hopefully. I've made a bunch of other changes too, just like this winter, because I was like struggle a lot with like seasonal affective disorder.
Sad.
So I was like, and the winters were the worst for me. But this year, living up north, I'm outside more. I'm trying to do more things outside, so it's become a lot easier for me versus like before too. I think it didn't help just the only time you go outside is you're just getting in your car to sit in traffic in the shitty weather to
Yeah.
do your job. That's like, I didn't hate my job, but it definitely like, it sucks the life out of you a bit.
Well, when you're working like 80 hours a week,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
So now I'm like outside more. I've been, we got into surfing in Costa Rica a few years ago, but I've been surfing the lakes here.
In the winter.
What? That's
Lake
so
Ontario.
cool.
Yeah, so it's been super fun, and I've also been doing it with like other photographer friends of ours, like Hugh Whitaker and TJ.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's like kind of getting to know peers.
I think I saw a photo of that Hugh took of his friend doing that, and it was like a ice beard or something.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's a picture. I think TJ got of Hugh actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, it gets pretty
is
gnarly.
that what it is? Yeah.
Yeah, it gets cold, but I mean the wetsuits work and you stay pretty warm. The ice is like definitely deceiving. Hi, buddy. I know.
Oh my gosh, homie literally sounded like a little baby. That sounded like a baby.
Like a baby. I know. He's a baby.
Oh my gosh. Thank you for sharing, Brandon. That is amazing. I'm sure it gives other people hope that, have social anxiety, that they can also figure out ways and gather tools for them to still be able to get out there, be a photographer, and do what they love. And Jessy, how about you? Because I'm sure we all have a mental health story. We all have shit we deal with. So is there anything that you've felt that you had to overcome throughout your photography career?
You got heavy questions, man. They're good. Well, like, it's so funny because like I haven't ever had I've never experienced anxiety the way Brandon has. And I mean, like, I'm pretty introverted, but I can like be extroverted and be when I need to be at weddings. So like I've always kind of like coasted through it. I think I found it really hard when and I think like you probably know about it. Everyone knows about this, but like comparisonitis, like when you look at yourself and you look at other people and you're like, well, what am I doing here? Why am I even here? What's my point? Like what am I even sharing that's worth of any value? So I think like I have a little bit of self-doubt. But that just comes with being like the moody artist that I am. It's like just part of my personality. And so whenever I get into those like really dark places, I just try to focus on feelings more than things. So when I like go in, like I actually just redid my website, and I actually went through a huge artist block. Was it last year? Our cat passed away, and like I went into like this really sad, like this deep sadness, which affected my art in the way that I just like felt like I couldn't do anything. I didn't even want to do anything.
Yeah.
And then I felt like I lost like my love of being creative and artistic. And it was really hard for me. So then what I did to try to rejuvenate that was go look at people's work. And then I was like, people are so damn talented. Like I can't go back and do anything. Like, what do I have to offer? There's nothing here for me. And it was really hard. And then 2020 happened, and then most of our weddings got canceled. So I haven't even really dealt with that yet. But for the few weddings that we did cancel or we did shoot, it was really neat because I almost had permission to not have to perform perfect. Like I have these high, this high bar set for myself. And when COVID happened, every single one of our couples was just coming from a place of gratitude that we were even there. And then I just like had a huge smack in the head. Like my ego was smacked hard with a shovel. And there's just this voice in my head being like, you need to just shut up. You don't need to think about what it matters to you, what you're shooting. It matters to them. They're getting married. They just went through a pandemic. They're terrified to have their family with them, but they're doing it. Like everyone's alive. Just push your ego aside and go do your job and be grateful. So like, that's something I'm just working on all the time. All the time I'm working on.
Oh my gosh. I love that you shared that. Cause again, it's this, like, I look at you two and your work and what you've created, and I'm like, no, they're so confident in their style, like so 100%. And I would compare myself to you. Like our styles are very different. And I just like drool over like what you create, but I'm also loving what I create. So it's this weird thing because like, no matter what, we're never going to be creating like other artists. Right. So to know that you also feel that way, because I also feel that way, is so interesting. And actually, it's funny that you said that it helped you when you started shooting again to get over that. I find that the same pattern for me in the winter, I get a little bit more like sensitive to like, oh, am I even that good? It's because everything is slower, right? Like you're not actually out there creating and like living out your purpose, that you start to get, you overthink, right? So
oh yeah,
especially with social media, because you see all your peers and your friends out there and they're posting all this work and you're like, holy shit, like why is everyone still like going so hard? Like everyone's working so much and creating all this work and I'm not doing anything. And then all of a sudden, because we go through, like a lot of people do go through a lull in the winter, especially in this industry. But and even the people that are posting stuff probably are too. But we have this perception that because of social media that they're like just constantly creating stuff and like how can they just do this all the time?
I mean, it's ebbs and flows for everybody. Everyone, sometimes I just need to step back and like shut my ego up, and then I also need to remember everyone's on their own journey, and that's like the really exciting thing about life. And like if I'm ebbing or I'm flowing, whatever it is, I just want to be in it 100% and just be aware and like be okay with it. Give myself permission to just like sit back and be like, all right, you're here right now. Like you're good. You're fine. Like, great. Life is good.
And the comforting thing is that the more we talk about this, that everyone feels this way, the more we can just like lean on each other and be like, call each other photographer and be like, I'm feeling fucking comparisonitis again. Like talk me out of it, you know, like, exactly. It'll always be there no matter what stage in our career we're at. So let's just figure out a way to have a tool to like get over it in the moment when we need to.
Exactly.
For sure. It's kind of like a nice balance.
Thank you for sharing.
Oh yeah, thank you for asking. You got killer good questions, man. I
like to go deep. I don't do small talk.
We like to. What's the thing? We just watched the show called Your Honor, and the person in it. I'm not going to say much because I don't want to give the show away, and I tend to do that. One of the characters in it says, "Go deep, not wide," and that really resonated. I'm like, I hate small talk. If I'm gonna, like Sarah, even with you and I, every time we've seen each other at these like photography events, we gravitate towards each other and have real conversations, and then like have these good solid conversations, and then it's like small talk. Hell no, I can't do that. I want like, real stuff. Like I want to go deep. You know?
Oh yeah.
That's awesome. Sure. And that's so funny that you said that, because that's exactly the reason I felt so connected to you. I don't know, because like when one person opens up to you so much, you feel like you can open up to them, and in the span of like a short amount of time, you can like form this deeper bond than you would even just small talking for hours. But to each their own. I mean, I know there are people that really do enjoy small talk and talking to a lot of people because they love that like variety and learning from all like, but I just don't know how to small talk. Like I get anxiety when I'm in front of a cashier. I'm like, I really want to be nice and like kind and light up their day, but I'm like, I have no fucking clue what to say right now.
I know, right?
That's funny because a lot of people I think sometimes think I'm a bit of a dick because I don't really know how to do small talk and I don't want to force it. So if some people like, I will just be like quiet and be
just
like,
be there.
Cool.
Yeah.
Like,
I know.
I'll like have little words with them. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's so funny, man. Brandon, we have so much in common too, because I like back in high school, people thought I was a stuck-up bitch, and I had no idea because my friends, I was always so bubbly and whatever. And then I found out through the grapevine that some people just thought I was like just so like bitchy. I'm like, what? Really? Oh my god, no. It's like I'm like the opposite. So it's just funny how we all can perceive, right? Attention, fellow wedding photographers and fellow wannabe wedding photographers. Tell me if this sounds like you. You're scared of missing key moments on wedding days. You feel pressured to create photos that are quote unquote Pinterest perfect and Instagram worthy. You're nervous about all the different lighting scenarios that are out of your control and you're not sure how to handle them. You're confused on how to balance creating beautiful imagery while also capturing authentic moments and emotion. And you're worried about being in people's way too often. If you're like, hells yeah, Sara, you read my mind, then I'm here all excited and bushy-tailed. Yes, I had to throw in the squirrel reference to let you know that I've created something for you that will help you become a confident wedding day storyteller in just 2 weeks. It's an online program that I created just for you called Intuitive Storytelling, and it's officially out and ready for enrollment. I want you to take a moment and imagine for a second what life would be like if you knew how to be at the right place at the right time on wedding days so you can catch those key and in between moments. You got emails back from your clients saying, you were the best freaking decision we made for our wedding. You also knew how to confidently create strong storytelling photos that people felt emotionally connected to. And you finally felt like an actual fly on the wall, aka people don't stare into your camera all day anymore. Well, it's all possible because I consistently experience these things myself. And now I want to help you make these possibilities become your reality. Are you all bright-eyed and bushy-tailed right now too? Again, had to throw in the squirrel reference, you know me. So listen up. You can get started on learning all my tips and tricks of how I document wedding days as soon as today. You can go to saramonika.com/storytelling for all the deets and instructions on how to grab your copy of the course. You'll have lifetime access and you can go at it at your own pace, along with a private community of other like-minded photographers that are on the same journey as you are. With intuitive storytelling, you'll be able to learn how to confidently storytell like a pro on wedding days in just 2 weeks. So, what are you waiting for? Uplevel your storytelling game this wedding season so that next year you'll be watching your inbox filling up with even more inquiries. Hello, referrals from this year's clients. So again, head over to saramonika.com/storytelling and sign up now. I cannot wait to see you in there. So I would love to kind of transition the conversation into understanding how the heck you guys have developed your personal style. It's so unique. It's so like milky, moody, passionate. Like I would never be able to create. Yeah, milky. That's the word that comes to my mind.
I love that.
That's cool.
Can I take that, Sara?
Do it, man. Do it.
I've never heard that. It's so good. I like that.
Yeah, do it.
I love that too.
Yeah. You wanna? I mean, you're.
I guess the base level is like we've always been attracted to harsh light and on like just a superficial level exposing for highlights.
Yes,
it's like we love that, and then just getting with experience, I guess. And Jess has the ability to like. I think this most special thing about Jess is, especially as a photographer, is her ability to make people feel comfortable. That I think cool. That outshines, which is a big statement because she's really talented, like technically. Yeah. But that ability outshines her technical shooting ability. Like, and I think it shows in all of her work, which is huge.
Yeah, that's amazing. And that is like something, I love that you said that because I totally feel that through your work, because I'm fascinated by how, like, I don't know how to, I have no idea because I specialize more in documentary. Like I observe and I document, right? But for me, portraits, they're not like my strongest suit and I'm constantly learning how to get better at them. So to me, it's just fascinating how I feel like they are portraits where they're not, I'm going to say quote unquote pose because lack of a better word or whatever. But yeah, I feel that like pure emotion and energy behind them. And even if they're like these beautiful, perfect portraits. So yeah, that combination of like your technical abilities and making people feel comfortable is amazing. I can feel it through them.
Thank you. Thanks.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet. So like, I'm more like you where I shoot a lot of documentary style. Like I kind of like just to stay in the background. And so it's pretty sweet because I have her, I wouldn't say posing. I get what you're saying, lack of a better word. It's more like she creates a situation and an environment and the people kind of just vibe off of it. And so she does that for me. So when I get to shoot, especially when I shoot my film portraits and stuff, she's already created the scenario, and then I just get to capture it the way I envision it, which is slightly different than her. So it's always cool to see like the two takes we get on
and then it's
scenarios
on a different medium. Like you're shooting on film, so like, and he's shooting like a square crop, like Yashica or Hasselblad on 120. And then you see like my shots, which are digital, and then his shots that are film, and they're completely different perspective of the same scene. Like that's fun. Like that's a fun journey, man, to like see. Yeah.
You two are like puzzle pieces. That's what an awesome photography duo. Oh my gosh.
Thanks. Yeah,
that's so cool.
It's cool.
And so do you deliver like some film? Actual film prints as well?
Yeah. I don't give them the negatives, but I develop all my black and white stuff, and then I usually give them, fingers crossed, 12 frames from a whole roll that I shoot during the wedding, or just like I usually don't shoot it during like the wedding part of it. It's more of like a kind of just go take a walk and we have a moment for like 10 minutes. We both shoot, but yeah, I never really shoot it during like ceremonies or anything like that.
Yeah, that would be hard.
It's hard.
And is that a surprise for them?
Yes and no. Some people like request it, purchase it, whatever, however you want to go about it. But I kind of like shooting it. Like, so when I see stuff, like if they don't ask for it or pay for it, and I see something I like at a wedding, I always bring it. So if I see it, I'm like, I need to shoot some film here. I do it because it's not really about the money. It's about like, film does definitely capture,
of course,
a cool texture that is hard to replicate. So sometimes you just have to shoot it.
Yeah. I love that. I love that you don't hold back, even if it's like, it's just like, you're just like, I have to do this. That means obviously you're so passionate about it, and like, why not gift it to them? You know, like, why not? So that's amazing.
And it's also
I'm trying to,
for like our couples when they see us shooting, because like when I'm shooting, I'm like the director on scene, so I'm like, yo, I'm building this vibe, we're going, and all of a sudden Brandon comes in with his camera and he's like, all right, let's go. And I'm like hitting him, I'm like, get out of the way, I'm shooting, what are you doing? So but we've gotten better at it. That's good.
That's so funny. Okay, wait, how did that actually play out? Like, would you actually like bump him and whisper to him, hey, excuse me, move? Or like, are you actually just loudly like, hey, move, I'm trying to get this shot in front of the couple?
Sarah, when I'm in my jam, I'm like, Brandon, get out of here.
It's definitely under
so
her
funny.
breath. It's definitely under her breath, but like,
and couples see, and I think it's funny. It's so funny because they're like,
it is.
That's a couple bickering. This is very normal. Like,
I love that banter. Oh my gosh.
It was definitely a transition at the start of it because of our comfort level together. I know, Brittany.
It literally sounds like a baby.
Sorry.
She definitely, like, we had to get through that weird transition of like working together, not like working together conversation, but like literally shooting together, especially when I'm trying to shoot some film during these little sessions during a wedding, whereas like not getting in each other's way. And she legit is just like elbowing me under her breath, like, there's the fucking shot. Like, I'm like,
honestly, I sound like such a bitch to him, but like I'm just trying to
fine. It's fine. You're excited. You're passionate. He knows that you love him. It's all good.
But now that I'm more comfortable shooting weddings and more experienced, I do that to her. I'm like, I have a shot line on film, and I'm like,
get out of the way,
you
Jess.
need to move now.
I love that.
I like it. Yeah, it's good.
Actually, I have a great question. I think that okay. So, what has been one of like your biggest hurdles that you've had to overcome to get working together? Because that must have been a transition. Like, whoa, how are we going to navigate this?
I feel like it's like,
if there was one.
Yeah, like what would it be for you? Because you're coming into like a whole new role.
Yeah, like I think at first the hardest, I don't even know if we would call it the hardest part, was like setting my ego aside. It was like being bossed around by her on a wedding day was like, initially you want to be like, no, fuck you. Like, but I'm like, I was pretty quickly able to be like, just do what she says. Like, she's been doing this. She's a professional. She's like, just listen. talk about it later if you really want to, but just listen and do it. And
also, he's making me sound like Cruella de Vil. Like I'm
not at all. Not at all.
No, but like,
no, he clearly said it was his ego, right? So our egos are always like the mean voice, the part that isn't us, the part that's like trying to keep us surviving. And then if we're in love, like in a state of just being in love, then we're not reacting that way. So no, we totally trust me. All of us photographers totally get what you guys are talking about.
Because it's not like she was doing it in like a cruel way, but it's just like being told what to do by your wife all day at work. It's like she wasn't doing it in a malicious way.
Your ego takes a hit. Yeah.
You're like, oh, like I'm done being told what to do all day, but I learned a lot from it, which is cool. So,
and it's really, really cool. It's happened a few times at weddings where like the officiant will walk up to Brandon and introduce themselves and be like, hey, nice to meet you. So you're the boss around here? And he goes, nope, that's my wife there, Jessy. And I'm like, yes, 5'2" in my glory. Like, I'm the boss. I'm the boss.
That's so funny. I love that.
Hey, for women. Yeah.
That's awesome. So was that kind of like probably the biggest thing where it's kind of like, trying to figure out how to, because at first it's like, it is weird, but there has to be, I think, a primary shooter, especially in the beginning, but maybe now as you guys get more comfortable, it's more like, you know how to like dance together throughout a wedding day.
I'd still say hands down, she's the primary shooter because she has that ability with people. So like, and I don't really like that role of shooting. So I let her I will take it. I'm better in the background and just let me know when you need something from me kind of thing. Yeah. But we definitely created a flow that it's definitely got more fluid since we started for sure.
Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah. I like calling it a little dance. And I say dance because Rory is South African and he says it that way. So sometimes I say it that way now.
A little dance. Yeah. Dance going.
Awesome. Okay, so I think the last thing we should talk about is your Costa Rica adventures. Because, Kate, tell me a little bit more about that. Have you guys, I'm trying to remember, did you two go to Costa Rica for about 2 or 3 months? And are you planning on doing that every year?
Oh, yeah. We went 2 years ago. We went, and that was when Brandon came to like the realization with his mental health and that it was good for us to take winters off. So we ended up going away in 2019 and we went for 4 weeks and picked, why did we pick Costa Rica? Like we just wanted to go.
We wanted to learn to surf was one of them and just like get out of winter.
Yeah.
So
that place was calling our name.
Yeah, there's a few options, but like we just chose Costa Rica and
and then we did 4 weeks because it was like, oh, it's a no-brainer. Like we're not working.
No, I was working still at the time.
For the other company.
I just said it was one of those things where it's like I'm taking a month off.
Yeah.
So sorry.
Take it or leave it. Kind of.
Yeah, it was one of those scenarios. Luckily, they were really cool with it, and it went well. But and then we fell in love with it, and we ended up our first trip. We ended up while we were there reaching out to dog adoption, Save Our Scrub, and asking. We knew they adopted dogs from there all the time, so we're like, "Do you need help with anything while we're here?" And then they ended up asking us to bring 3 dogs home.
Oh,
yeah.
So, 2 originally, and then the last 2 days before, they're like, "We just got a litter of puppies. Can you bring this one on the plane with you?" And we're like, "Okay." And then we ended up falling in love with the dog,
the puppy,
who ends up being homie.
Yeah.
So he went to a foster for
2 weeks or like
a month maybe when we were home.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget the day. I was always open to getting the dog, to keeping him, but I was still working, so I was like, Jess is home every day. This is on. Like, I'm not going to force her to get a dog and not be home.
Yeah.
So one day we were on Instagram, and she's like, I'll never forget. It was so funny. Saber Scruff posted a picture of homie, and literally their Instagram blew up. There was hundreds of comments, and Jess is like, Brandon. I'm like, what? She's like, look at all these fucking people that they want to take my dog. And I'm like, whoa, Jess is not our dog. Like,
I was like, that's my dog. We gotta go get him right now.
And
yeah. Oh,
actually, a friend of ours, Megan, worked for them.
Megan Michelle, photo. Yeah, she's the one that like facilitated the whole thing. Like, she was like, yo, you're gonna adopt a dog one day. And I'm like, I don't know, man. And then she's like, yo, you're in Costa Rica, they need your help. And I'm like, oh shit. And then I'm
my God.
Hey, I found the dog of my dreams. Thanks, Megan.
Yeah, she actually like
it's a little matchmaking.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, she knew that we would be interested. So she actually told them to wait, to not take like adoption requests, I guess, for him. So she's like, wait, just wait until we hear back from them, because I feel like they're gonna want this dog.
Yeah.
So when Jess like blew up that day and was like, I need this dog, and messaged them, they're like, okay, we've been waiting to hear from you. And she found out.
Oh, no way.
So it was pretty cool.
Yeah, it's kind of
cool. That's a very powerful story of how you and homie got together. Like that's that's a really unique and powerful story. It's like serendipitous or something, because no matter what, he was meant to be in your lives.
Oh yeah, no, it's so cool. It's very cool.
Awesome.
It's fun because like, so we went in 2020 and then we came back from Costa Rica. We went for a 6-week trip, and like we're totally like grooving and just found our like flow, and we're like, heck yes, we're going to be going every winter. This is a part of our like plan for life. Like, we need to get out of winter, work in the summer, possibly move down there one day, who knows. And then then the pandemic hit, and it's been like really like tough, right? No travel and all that. So we obviously didn't go this year. And it's crazy just sitting back, being like present in this winter. And like, it's so different because like now we get to like go outside and we have a backyard, and it's nicer. But we're still like itching for like to go back. Like that place, like even with your affinity with water, like Brandon and I both have this thing with the ocean where it's just so grounding. Like it's like the best feeling is being in the ocean. So like that's definitely in the long term. Hopefully maybe in 5 years we'll do another podcast with you, but we'll be living there, and then we can
I love that.
Over, you'll come down.
You'll come down.
I'll come over for sure.
We'll have a spot. Like that's the dream. So the next goal would be to be down there. But yeah, no, it's definitely cool to find like a piece of land that you can call your home, and you've just like visited and stance upon it. So
that's awesome. I actually have friends that moved there recently and bought a piece of land. They're Kristen and Sia. They're travel vloggers. They're called Hopscotch the Globe, and they're just living life with their little baby, like so happy living with like a community in Costa Rica. So I can always like connect you with them if you need any tips on that stuff too. So yeah, that's awesome. I think Rory and I eventually definitely want to be like snowbirds too, because we love Canada, we love Ontario, and want to be close to our family and friends. But yeah, we need an escape in the winter. Same thing.
For sure.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much I can't believe this time like flew by. I felt like we had like the best freaking conversations.
I know. Thank you for all of that, and for like just putting this out in the universe. Like, this is cool. Thank you so much.
Aww,
it was nice to meet you.
Incredible.
Yeah, it was so nice to meet you. Yeah. Those of you that don't know, I've met Jessy a bunch of times before, but I've never met Brandon. So this was like our first time virtually meeting, which is awesome. Yeah. And also, where can people find you if they want to connect with you, if they want to message you and say, hey, oh my gosh, what you said helped me so much, or even just like asking you questions? Where can everyone find you?
Yeah, you can find our wedding account is Bows and Lavender. So it's on Instagram, and then bowsandlavender.com. And then Brandon's analog film work, he has his own account for that on Instagram.
It's just at Brandon Stills.
Brandon dot
Stills. Easy.
Is it Brandon dot Stills?
Yeah. Brandon period Stills. And it's all of his analog work too, which is really cool and inspiring. So yeah, check us out and let us know if you guys have questions too about anything, because we're an open book, baby. That's how to be, right, Sara?
Yep. Community over competition, right?
Yes, always.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much for your energy, and we'll talk to you soon.
Okay, thank you, Sara.
Yay! thank you so much for hanging out with me and tuning into this episode. If you got value out of it, please feel free to message me on Instagram at Sara Monika Photo. That's Sara no H, Monika with a K, photo, to let me know. I get so freaking energized hearing from others that what I've said has had a positive impact on their lives. Also, make sure to hit subscribe to the Shine and Thrive podcast to never miss an episode. I'm so grateful for you, and I'm sending you all the productive vibes your way so you have the best week ever.